$35,393, which means my real budget is $477,115.92.
Say that again. For
take the 512, 508.92.
yeah.
Subtract the 97 line item, 35,393. And my figure here is 477,115.92. And yes. If you take the total of 2011 and do the same figures, take the total of 515,540 and subtract from it 38,393, the 97 line item. The total is 477,147 even. So you can see that my budget's just tiny bit under. I mean, the expenditure end of it is just a tiny bit under what last year's was. So I not only took the I'm going to call it an edict, okay, of keeping the budget at 1%, and I took that to a level and made it 0%. So I'm really hopeful that you will approve the budget as it is proposed to you. I've done this 2 years running, and it's still been cut, and I'm really going to object very strongly to it this year, because my girls' salaries have gone down 2 years in a row because of other increases.
Health increases.
And I think it's very unfair. I really hope you will take the time to read this first paragraph on salaries on my explanation.
Okay.
And I would like to point out another thing to you. The consolidation project, which I proposed in 2007 to save the county approximately $10,000 for 4 years, because we took single-sided copied books and we double-sided them and reduced the amount of volumes from 900 to 450. That saved shelf space, that saved volume covers. It's going to continue into 2012. My coverage went more than 4 years. It's actually saved us money over, it's going to be 6 years.
How did you figure book shelving at $17,600 saving?
Because it costs us for every rack of shelving, costs us $1,200. Okay? We have saved that much space over that time.
Okay.
I saved also book covers are $81 a piece.
Okay.
So instead of that being a savings over 4 years, it's being a savings over 6 years. But that project is now complete, and I have enough books. We're recycling the old book covers, putting new numbers on them, and we've recycled all of that, and we've saved, and we now have enough bookshelf space left to cover this year. I think it's an amazing job that they did. It's reduced all of our budgets, like I said, by $9,000 a year since 2007, and allows for the continuance of savings through 2012. These types of projects in the past were outsourced at a great expense to the county. These archival projects are required by statute and the responsibility of the Registry of Deeds. This can only be accomplished, and I stress this, with the skill and experience of a dedicated staff. The archival projects are in addition to their normal daily jobs, and this is such fussy work that we do. It has to be proofread before it is rescanned. It gets rescanned, it gets proofread afterwards to make sure absolutely nothing has been omitted, either in the margins or whatever. It's very, very fussy work, and we keep adding to the archival and the backup, both, with CD-ROMs and so forth of all of the documentation, which truly has been neglected for eons because of volume.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Under salaries.
Sure.
Would you agree that your salary should be taken out of the salary line item and listed separately.
Well, it's still an expense. I mean,
I know, but I mean, it just,
I broke it
In other
down for
cases-
you in this, and
Yeah,
I
I know
also
you did.
always do that to the
I
delegation.
know you did, but what it does is that other departments have department heads' salaries as separate. County attorney being an example. His
There's no
salary-
place here for it.
What's
I've
that?
just inherited what's here. There's no place here for it. It's
No, we
always
just add
been
it. We'll just add a
line item.
line item for salary for registry of deeds. And I say that because
It sure makes the figure
you're
look a lot better,
probably
doesn't
one of
it?
the lower paid, not probably, the lower paid register
Yeah.
in the state. And if it's listed separately, then they can't take that line item to salaries and increase it by whatever percentage and
Okay.
get the right figure.
Okay,
So if we separate that out, then it would,
right.
that would,
You can add a
help, I
line and
think.
put it, I imagine, oh,
and Kathy Gary can figure that out.
okay.
We'll make it 011,
Put it at the end.
.011. No, it's got to go up next to salaries.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
You want to go down the lines
Yeah,
of
let's get down
expenditures?
quickly, make wherever there's any changes.
Again, we were fortunate that the insurance has gone down, which helped a little bit. I think mine got reduced. My line item on insurance went down a total of about $3,000, which was comforting. I couldn't figure out how retirement went down, but not mine to judge. Okay. I guess one of the things, if you're not having questions, when you get down to postage, there's an explanation in your supplement here, which tells you how much we collect for postage. When we have a postage expenditure, we also have postage income. Documents that come in either come with a SAISI to be returned, or they come, they're charged for postage back fee at the time of recording. We do it because there's a balance, and I did separate postage income because it was at the request of one of the delegation members. But you can see that through October 31st, we had taken in $3,619.36 in postage income. And, you know, the expense line looks a little funny. But the bulk of that postage is for sending out copies of all deeds and whatever other documents each town would like to have, which we have to give them by statute. And we mail that out about twice a month, which is well exceeds the statute of sending them out quarterly. But it makes the towns able to keep up with their assessments and their tax card changes in a more timely fashion. And the other is for sending out our monthly bills for people who have accounts. But basically everything else that we mail out has been accounted for at the time that they either ordered something or recorded something.
Under transfer tax commission, you're increasing that by $11,000?
Well, we did this year. If you look at the total line on this sheet I gave you, when you come down on the income side on the left, you'll see how much transfer tax we actually collected, which is $4,302,182, of which we get to keep 4%. I have to tell you that some of that money that we got in was at my insistence of aggravating the DRA. We have sales of businesses that sell, And the town gets, I mean, the state is not getting income, their share of the income.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it under business profits instead of as sales they just changed their corporations, and they just changed the stockholders.
So does the income equal out?
Oh, we don't see anything.
I mean, we don't.
Storyland sold 4 times.
Okay,
We got
so-
$8,000 finally on that because
So the state is
went
breaking
after 'em.
even, but the county isn't getting any money out of it because it's not.
State didn't get anything until I kept telling him, this thing has been sold. This has been sold and
Yeah.
sold and sold.
Yeah.
Attitash, when it sold, we received nothing. If you leave your company name the same, and you can do that through just changing stockholders. Now, I can't tell you, I've asked, but I've not got an answer. Is there something else that they're paying when they sell? These are big entities that sold for millions.
Yeah.
And so that has been an issue with me. I've not had a satisfactory answer, except that it's acceptable, apparently. Oh, they're only selling the business. And my answer to DRA was, how do you ski without the land? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of a thorn in somebody's side for a while, and
Might
they
be
did
a
go
good-
after him.
Might be a good news story or somebody to do some research on.
No, I'm not going there.
No, I mean,
No. I don't want to encourage more people to do it.
well, no, that's true.
It's apparently legal, but state did go after them and has recovered some money themselves and gave us there was $8,000 some odd dollars that we actually got in an income that we wouldn't have got without it. I don't know how much money we lose by these things.
Yeah.
I only know that sales that happened that were front page news.
You brought this
And
up
I
in the
never
subcommittee?
I've brought that up before. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a figure I can change. Unfortunately for us, to be honest with you, in this economy with the lack of sales, and you see the for sale signs everywhere, fortunately for us, there's been a lot of big properties that have sold for big money. I mean, places on the lake, tractor sales down here, that changed hands. Those bring in a blank to us of, $2,000, $4,000, that really does help. And it has offset the many sales that are not happening. I'm surprised as any that this figure is as good as it is.
Do you think that you're going to come up with what you proposed?
I did. Well, I mean, by figures and all I can do when I'm doing this is I wait as long as possible. So I got 10 full months. Last year, we've only based it on 3/4 of income.
Yeah.
This year, I'm basing it on 10 months, which is better.
Yeah.
I'm only averaging in the last 2 months based on the previous 10 months. And if you saw this on a regular basis, January was extremely bad. February wasn't much better. Those really dragged us down. I hope that isn't what's happening in November and December, because we seem to be we've been pretty steady in the amount that we've been giving to the business office for the general fund. I have to be honest with you, and I'm not going to name the county, but I did check with another registrar yesterday and asked what her income she anticipated for this year and what her expenses were. And there was only $75,000 worth of difference that they would be handing to the county. This county has been fortunate not to be suffering in that same way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me again the revenue that you have up to date.
Right, it's on this list. What I've given to the county so far this year is 500 and my glasses. I hate old age.
538.
582, 375, 63, and I averaged in another 58,000 for the last 2 months each, and hopefully we'll make that. And that gave you that total of 700,
248.
wherever. How did I lose me? Yes. That's only, that's that's based on my income that I've got there, each line item.